We are discussing the recent visit of African leaders to China and what this means for Africa. African leaders did sign important agreements with China, but many Africans are asking, who is really benefiting from this relationship? Is Africa winning, or is China getting more out of the deals? China and Africa have been working together for many years. China has helped African countries build roads, bridges, and schools. China has undertaken wide range of infrastructure, economic, and development projects across Africa. These projects fall under various sectors, from transportation to technology, energy, and agriculture. Here are some of key areas of China's involvement in Africa. 1. Transportation infrastructure. Railways. China has funded and constructed major railways line in Africa, including the Mombasa-Nairobi Standard Gauge Railway in Kenya, which is part of the broader East African Rail Network. The Addis Ababa Djibouti Railway, linking landlocked Ethiopia to the Djibouti port. Roads. China has built highways and roads in countries like Angola, Zambia, and Ethiopia to enhance connectivity. Number 2. Energy and power project. Hydropower. Chinese companies have been involved in constructing large hydropower dams, such as the Bao Dam in Ghana, the Kaufia Gauge Lower Dam in Zambia. Solar and wind projects. China has invested in renewable energy projects like the Garissa Solar Power Station in Kenya. Number 3. Mining and mineral resources. China is heavily involved in mining projects, particularly in countries rich in minerals and natural resources, including cobalt and copper mining in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Oil exploration in Sudan and South Sudan. Number 4. Special economic zone and industrialization. China has helped establish special economic zones in countries like Ethiopia, Zambia, and Nigeria to promote manufacturing and industrial growth. Examples include the East Industrial Zone in Ethiopia, which is the hub for manufacturing, the Lekki Free Trade Zone in Nigeria, and so many more. In return, Africa sells China important resources like oil, minerals, and other goods. But now, Africans are wondering, is this friendship equal, or is China getting more than they are giving?
We are driven by a desire to achieve shared prosperity while recognizing our individual developmental aspirations.
When African leaders visited China, they discussed some big projects and deals, and China did agree to buy more products from Africa like cocoa, coffee, and minerals. They also promised to lend money to help build new roads, railways, and other important infrastructure. China promised to help Africa with big projects that can improve the way Africans travel, communicate, and do business. One of the key topics was improving trade between China and Africa. China also wants to support African farmers by giving them access to better technology. But one of the main worries about China lending money to Africa is debt. Many African countries have borrowed large sums from China to fund big projects, But now, some experts are saying that this could be risky. Several countries in Africa have taken big loans from China to build railways, airports, and highways. As these loans have to be paid, but can these African countries pay back with interest? If African countries can't repay these loans, they might face serious problems in the future. Some economists have said, if African countries keep borrowing from China without being careful, it could lead to a situation where they owe China too much money. This could hurt the economy in the long run. China is not just helping Africa because they are being kind. China also gets a lot from this partnership. They want access to African natural resources like oil and metal. And they also want to sell more of their products in African markets. China sees Africa as a place with many opportunities where they can buy important resources like oil, copper, and cobalt that are used to make things like phones and cars. But some people think Africa isn't getting as much from the deal as China. Political experts have also said African countries need to make sure they are not too dependent on China. While China is offering money and help, it is important for Africa to look for other partnerships so Africa isn't tied to one country. Another big promise from China was to help African farmers. China wants to help them use better technology to grow more foods, but this raises some concerns about whether small African farmers will really benefit. China has promised to invest in African agriculture, promising to teach African farmers new ways to grow crops using modern machines. This could help African farmers grow more food and make more money, but some Africans are worried that Chinese companies could take over the African farming industry, which could hurt small African farmers. China's help is good, but Africans need to make sure that the benefits goes to local farmers, not just big companies. So, after these big visits to China, what does the future hold for Africa and China's relationship? China has promised a lot, but it is important for African leaders to make sure that these promises help African people in the long run. As Africa continues to grow, we need to make sure that our partnerships are fair and that we don't rely too much on one country.